Hey guys, I'm making a video today to review the Upper Park Designs Shift bag. This is the version 6. This bag retails at $139. I got this on sale for $129. Currently they're going even cheaper than that. I think $129, and they have a 10% off code with save 10, I think is their code. So there's some pretty good deals out there on this bag right now. It is an ultralight bag. This bag empty weighs at 1.13 kilos. That is quite a bit lighter than the Grip CS bag. The Grip CS is 1.6 kilos. So a little more than half a kilo lighter than the Grip CS bag. It's just one of the lightest bags that I've tested for sure. Certainly one of the lightest bag in a backpack orientation. I sent an email out actually on a Saturday to ask where this bag was made and where the fabrics were sourced from. And I also sent the same email out to a couple different manufacturers. And Upper Parks was the only one that responded to me, and I got an email back in like 10 minutes, even on a weekend. So I was pretty impressed with how quickly they responded. I say that because I just seen a comment post yesterday, I think, that some people were maybe having communication issues with Upper Parks, but I thought I'd share at least, my little story. They were super quick to respond. John let me know that these bags are made in Vietnam, and he said proudly so. He's visited the facility, and it's got certain certifications and whatnot. Regardless of what you think about that, it's at least impressive to me that he responded and answered every question I had about that product. This bag, I have 13 discs in here right now, and that's about how I've been carrying it. I've had between 12 and 14 discs, and that seems like about the perfect amount for this bag. You certainly can squeeze more than that. These side pockets are stretchy enough that you could fit even up 4 drivers or something in there if you really wanted to carry more discs, but it seems really comfortable kind of in that 12 to 14 range. So I think that's probably how most people will end up using it. The couple things that are my favorite about this bag is how light it is, how comfortable it is, and the overall design of the disc storage. It is so easy to see all of my discs. After doing a review on the Carlton and realizing, that it is fairly difficult to see into those side pockets and keep track of how many discs you have in there and the order they're in, this bag is the opposite. It's quite the contrast. If I'm on the course throwing warm-up shots before a round, just throwing up, half my discs or all my discs out into a field, or I'm in the middle of a round and throwing, second shot, third shot, fourth shot, whatever off of a tee as some practice, I always struggle with counting how many discs I just threw so that I know how many I have to go pick up. And it's really been nice with this bag. I don't have to count how many discs I'm throwing out there anymore. I just at a glance, it's a pair, 2 discs, 3 putters on top, and then I'm looking for 2 mids. If I look and just immediately can tell, oh, I'm missing one disc there. I don't have to count the number. I know there's one more out there I need to pick up, and I can't overstate how nice that is, just at a glance, to have exact track of how many discs I've got out and how many I need to pick up. The comfort of this bag is really quite impressive to me. They did an excellent job shaping the back of this bag. It's got kind of this turtle shell concave angle on the back, and when I put this bag on, the padding contacts my back in so many different places. It really feels like it's almost molded for me, and I really don't get that sort of feeling when I put the Grip CS bag on. There's just like a couple points where the grip CS really pushes against my back, and that's about it. It really adds to how comfortable this bag is. The shoulder straps on this do have less padding compared to the grip CS. Let me get to where I can see the measurements I took. So on the shift here, there were different measurements from one side to the other, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Something happened. I got 10 millimeters on one side and 12 millimeters on the other, and the grip CS is like 16 millimeters, so there is less padding, but it does seem like it is a closed cell or like a pre-compressed foam, so it's pretty stiff, and I don't miss the padding that the extra padding that the grip has. I don't miss it on this bag because it's just so light in general. It's super comfortable. One of the other real unique features of this bag is the waist belt that it has, and the pockets down here. I don't know of any other disc golf bag that does that. That's really important when carrying heavy loads, like hiking around carrying climbing gear and bigger packs. That's when I really utilize those waist belts and clip them down. So I thought that was a cool thing to see on a disc golf bag. However, this bag is so light that I don't use them. In fact, they're in my way a little bit. I don't know when you would want to use the waist belt on this bag and clip it in place. Maybe if you're riding a bike or something like that with the bag on. One thing that I noticed and was bugging me about that waist belt a little bit is when I put the bag on, I was collapsing it against my back, just like I did there, and then I had to pull these and untuck them. And that's because the backpack strap is sewn into the waist belt. So when I'm pulling the strap, it pulls the pocket, the pouch waist belt around, which is really a weird thing. I don't know. I guess my thought is that piece of webbing should have maybe been sewn down here and just have it overlap. That way, when I pick the strap up, it would actually push that out the other way. If this piece of webbing came all the way down here and was sewn right in the middle. So a little bit of a weird design choice. I'm not sure why they did that. Once I realized that I wasn't really utilizing the clip here on the waist, I decided I really should just take it off. And there's all these straps hanging down under this bag, and that's all stuff that's getting dipped in mud and just getting dirty. And if I'm not going to use them, I should take them off. And the way that they put those straps on, it is really easy to remove them. So that gets a couple of the things out of the way that aren't just hanging around down there anymore. This bag has hard plastic feet on the bottom of it, which you've heard as I'm scraping and scratching them across my table. They got 4 feet on there, so it is predictable when you set it down because we've got those 4 contact points. The bag does really tend to want to lean forward, and only when it's fully loaded, which is how I have it right now, does it stand fairly erect. One of the misconceptions I had when first looking at this bag and ordering it was that this section right here was my main disc storage, and that is wrong. The main disc storage is actually on the sides of this bag. That is where you want to keep weight. If you're carrying like less than 13 discs, less than 12, then it's important that you load the bottom first and keep your weight down here. I'm going to kind of empty it out. I had it fully loaded here. This is how I've been using the bag. The overall structure is a rigid back. One panel throughout the back of the bag that keeps the back stiff, and then our drink holder up front is also rigid. The sides are not. We get our stability on the sides by putting discs in there. So as you can see, I'm pulling these discs out and the bag's just collapsed. It's collapsed on itself. So it's really important that you load those first. You know, that's not a bag you want to carry around and be sitting on the ground right there. You know, it's just ready to tip over one way or the other. So you got to take that into consideration when you're figuring out how to load your bag. There are three disc slots on the back here, and you know, you could carry them all sorts of different ways. I really like that 3 putters fit in the top one. That does eat up some of the real estate in this lower pouch. You know, if I was only going to put 2 putters in, then it makes it easier for me to put 2 discs there. But if I've got 3 putters on top, then it's much harder to get 2 discs in that center pocket. A lot of times I have been keeping towel in this drink holder here. The last few weeks that I've had this bag out and testing it, it's been cold and snowy and rainy and, you know, just nasty conditions out there. So my towel's been getting a lot of use. My towels are getting dirty, and I don't necessarily want to be jamming my freshly, you know, wet and muddy towel down in with the rest of my gear. So a lot of times the towel is staying up here. I have not put the Rainfly on this bag other than, you know, just to check it out temporarily. But it does ship with the Rainfly, which is a nice touch. It works just fine. It's like a lot of other similar Rainflies. It's got elastic and Velcro on there. So you kind of just start at either the top or bottom and get to stretching. And we just have, you know, a giant flap that pulls up. And then it's Velcro wings on the side to, you know, kind of hold it down. It do the trick in a pinch, you know. It's gonna keep your stuff mostly dry. The main storage compartment has a small pouch in the back. I'll show you. We'll just go all the way into the guts of the bag here. It's hard to see, so I'm going to grab an extra light to show you. So you can see the black mesh there at the back. I guess that's a design change. They used to have that on the sides maybe and moved it to the back. It's a little bit of an unusual thing. If I have a disc in that bottom slot, then the bottom edge of that disc overlaps that pocket. So if I want to get in the pocket, I need to lift this disc up, and then I can slide my fingers in that mesh. It's a little bit of an odd spot to have the storage all the way back there. Because if I've got this disc bag loaded up with, you know, jacket and extra drinks and stuff like that, I basically blocked myself from being able to utilize that, and I need to pull my jacket and other things out before I can get back into that pocket. So it's not one that I've used. The valuable storage on this bag, you've got a couple options. One, let me silence my phone so it doesn't keep beeping like that. One is to utilize this center flap right here. I can slide my car keys and my phone straight into that pocket and leave it, you know, kind of poking up so that I've still got access to it if I want. This flap has zippers on both ends of it. So if you have your bag zipped closed like this, you can then utilize this zipper to access stuff, and it goes all the way through. So when you've got the flap tucked in, you want to make sure you remember to zip that one closed first. Otherwise, anything you put in the pocket is just going to fall right back out the bottom and go into the abyss of the main storage. It's a little bit interesting to me. I don't know why they did this. Put that zipper so high up so that, you know, as you can see, I'm unrolling that to get access to that zipper. It would make more sense if that zipper was right here, you know, so that when this flap is fully tucked in, you know, right here would be the opening for the pocket, but instead it's all the way down in here. I don't know, that's a little bit of a weird thing. The other option for valuable storage is to come down to the 2 pockets on the waist belt. I don't want to put my keys or my phone in there. Like, my keys have a plastic, you know, key fob on them, so that is breakable, and of course the phone is breakable. You know, anything you put down here is just asking to get wet from grass or being set in a puddle, or maybe somebody else grabs your bag and moves it and they just set it down hard on some rocks, or you kick it, or your friend kicks it or steps on this pouch because they're not looking where they're going. You're kind of just asking for stuff to get broken if you put it in these pockets. So I'm picky about what I'll put in here. You know, hand warmers, a dog poop bag, you know, my wallet, that's fine. That's really not going to get hurt. There is a little kind of stretchy divider in here if you want to split some items up. That's nice. And you've got that pocket on both sides, so you can, you know, plenty of room for a couple snack bars or whatever else you want to put in there. Moving on to the top of the bag here, we've got our slot for mini marker and a couple pencils. It's not a pencil pocket, really. It's a small piece of elastic that's sewn in. Twist that out so you can see. Yeah, it's just a little piece of elastic that grabs 2 pencils nicely, and the overall pocket is shallow enough that the pencils bottom out so they don't fall out the bottom, and that's worked well. They've been held in place just as they should be. Perhaps to me, the biggest oversight, the most frustrating design point of this bag is the haul handle here. I like that they've taken tubular webbing, and inside of it they put a piece of, you know, just some rope, I think is what's in here. Maybe that's foam, actually, I'm not sure. And then sewn it to pinch it in place. That gives you this nice kind of oversized, squishy, soft handle. But they messed up in 2 different ways. One is that they didn't make it tall enough. This webbing needs to be longer on both sides, and then they need a filler in there to make that haul loop stand high. And then the second thing is that it's too far forward. That mount needs to be back here. The problems with the way that they've done it is that it's just overlapping here. So as you are going through your round and putting putters in, or whatever disc you've got in there, that's constantly disappearing. I have never once used that loop to pick this bag up during a round because it just gets buried. It's really unfortunate. So what you're left with then is this little loop that they have sewn on the back. I think that the reason they put that on there early was for, you know, hanging it up in a closet or something like that. But that's the only loop that stays stood up for you to grab. And so that's, you know, I'm doing like one finger pickup, 2 finger pickups on this, and that's what I get to use as a haul loop. So, you know, they got close with this loop on here, but it just always gets tucked in by your discs. So I don't know, for this being the V6, the 6th version of the bag, I'm kind of baffled how that design piece made it through so many versions without getting fixed, in my opinion. Maybe there's something I'm missing and it really needs to be the way that it is, but that just seems like an oversight to me. That's relatively a small problem, I guess. The quality of the bag definitely seems really good. They've used quite a few different fabrics in different places. The front of the cup holder and through a section up here, it's more very durable, kind of like the, what's it called, Cordura or something is what that feels like to me. And then in other sections where it's this more shiny, it's very tight weave, ultra lightweight fabric. And then down on these outer slots, they've got super stretchy mesh, which I'm slightly concerned. You would not want to go charging through a thorn bush with that. You're even if you don't tear it, you're definitely going to get thorns that penetrate and start grabbing the bag. So that's something you definitely want to be cognizant of wearing it. It's not ready to go charging through a thorn bush with you. On the other side here, they added an extra little pocket for scorecard. That's where I've been keeping my Sharpie. It's a little bit, so they have the stretchy fabric on the back, so that's where they decided that edge of that pocket needed to be. But then the pocket would be too skinny if they sewn it here, so they went ahead and sewn it all the way out. But then that means the pocket's rounding a corner when you have discs in there. So it's a weird size pocket. Like, I think that should have they should have sewn it out here further and made that pocket more center on the face of the disc so that you could utilize this pocket a little bit more. But again, that's a small thing. When I've actually been playing with the scorecard, I've been taking the scorecard and just sliding it up here. It lives with my mini marker, just poking out the top of my bag. I'm not sure what else to say about the bag. I think that gives you a pretty good idea of the things that bug me about it and all the positive benefits of the bag. One other thing that I did figure out, kind of talking about how I remove the straps from here, that does still leave some danglers. On other bags, they have a little sewn-in Velcro so that you can take those and strap them up. If that sort of thing bugs you, then I'd recommend getting some Velcro straps yourself so that you can tie those loose ends up. It's definitely nice to keep all the extra pieces off the ground. If you're looking for an ultralight bag with a very unique design, keeps all your discs very visible, then I don't think you can do better than this bag. If the things I've shown you about the different storage options for valuables seems like it is something that would really bother you, then perhaps the Grip CS bag would be your preference. The storage on that is excellent, but it's also a heavier bag, and it's not as unique. There's a lot of grip bags, there's a lot of front loaders. There's very few things that look like this Upper Parks bag. The shift is super cool. So I hope that answers some of your questions about this bag and helps you make a decision what might be best for you. I will be ordering another bag here this week. So if you want to give me any recommendations, feel free to shoot them my way. I'm looking at the Voodoo Spinal Tap 3, the Fossa Zanny Pro, or the Heiserbaum Flak X. Let me know if any of those would be your preference, and I'll start there. Or if you have some other bag you'd like to see reviewed, feel free to drop a comment about that. Certainly, if you have any questions about this bag, feel free to ask away. I'll answer whatever your questions I can. That's it. Thanks for watching.